Motorola is often remembered as a nostalgic mobile phone brand, closely associated with earlier generations of consumer technology. Many assume the company faded into obscurity, along with other early mobile manufacturers. In reality, Motorola did not disappear. In its current form, the company operates with an estimated valuation of around $60 billion and plays a significant role in public safety and communications infrastructure. Today, Motorola is a major supplier of equipment used by first responders, including firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement. Its core business focuses on mission-critical communications, such as professional radio systems, body cameras, and in-car video equipment. While largely out of the public spotlight, the company remains influential. At the same time, its consumer smartphone division has begun to recover after years of decline. Motorola's history is closely tied to several pivotal moments in modern technology. Audio from the Apollo moon landings, including the transmission of the phrase, "one small step for man," was received through Motorola equipment. The company also developed the first handheld mobile phone. Despite this legacy, Motorola gradually moved out of mainstream consumer awareness, even as it continued to operate as a quiet but persistent presence in the technology sector. Until the 1970s, telephone communication was largely limited to landlines, public payphones, and car-mounted systems. None of these options provided true portability. Two organizations sought to change this: Motorola and Bell Labs. Bell Labs had explored the concept of cellular communication for years, but its efforts remained focused on vehicle-based phones. These systems were large, dependent on car batteries, and unreliable outside of ideal conditions. At Motorola, engineer Martin Cooper believed consumers wanted something fundamentally different. Despite skepticism from competitors, he pushed for a truly personal and portable device. Motorola redirected its engineering efforts toward building a handheld mobile phone, abandoning other projects to focus on that goal. After developing a working prototype, Cooper placed what is widely regarded as the world's first handheld mobile phone call. He called Bell Labs to demonstrate the achievement. In a later interview with NPR, Cooper recalled saying that he was calling from a real, personal, handheld cell phone. At the time, the device was bulky and impractical by modern standards, but in 1973 it represented a major technological breakthrough and laid the groundwork for modern smartphones. Motorola's influence extended beyond mobile phones. The company played a significant role in the development of early personal computing through the Motorola 68,000 microprocessor. Introduced in the late 1970s, the 68,000 is often described as one of the first modern processors. It offered levels of power and flexibility that were uncommon at the time and went on to power a wide range of systems, including arcade machines, home computers, and gaming consoles throughout the 1980s and 1990s. The processor was used in devices such as the Sega Genesis and the original Apple Macintosh. Despite its technical strengths, Motorola eventually lost ground to Intel in the microprocessor market. In 1983, Motorola introduced the Dyna-TSC 8000X, the first commercially available mobile phone. The device weighed approximately 2.5 pounds, offered about 30 minutes of talk time, and cost the equivalent of around $12,000 in today's money. Despite these limitations, demand was strong. Motorola sold roughly 300,000 units, confirming consumer interest in truly mobile communication. As mobile phones became more popular, competition intensified. By the mid-1990s, companies such as Nokia and Research in Motion were gaining momentum. Nokia built a reputation for durable, reliable phones focused on calls and text messaging, while BlackBerry devices became widely adopted by business users. By the early 2000s, Motorola had fallen behind Nokia and faced growing pressure from Samsung, which analysts at the time identified as a rising threat. In response, Motorola released the RA-ZR in 2004. The phone stood out for its thin design, metallic construction, and distinctive keypad layout. It also included features such as a built-in camera and music playback. The RA-ZR achieved global sales exceeding 130 million units, making it one of the most successful mobile phones ever produced. However, the success was short-lived. Internally, the company remained financially unstable. By the mid-2000s, Motorola's handset division was losing market share and operating at a loss. In the fourth quarter of 2007 alone, the division reported a loss of $1.2 billion, while the company's total profit for the same period was only $100 million. Layoffs had already been underway for several years. Eventually, Motorola split into two separate entities, Motorola Solutions and Motorola Mobility. Between 2008 and 2009, Motorola lost approximately 40% of its unit sales. By 2011, parts of the company were sold off. The network division was acquired by Nokia Siemens Networks. Motorola Mobility was sold to Google in 2012, primarily for its patents in Android hardware, and later sold again to Lenovo in 2014. At that point, Motorola appeared to be another early technology pioneer that failed to adapt to a changing industry. However, Motorola Solutions followed a different path. The company returned to its roots in public safety and communications. Historically, Motorola had supplied car radios to police departments as early as the late 1920s. Under the leadership of CEO Greg Brown, appointed in 2008, the company narrowed its focus to security, emergency services, and mission-critical systems. Brown later stated that the most valuable part of Motorola was the segment that received the least attention, and that the company could achieve more by doing less. Motorola Solutions expanded its portfolio of radios, software platforms, and integrated systems for emergency services. Its equipment is now widely used by firefighters and law enforcement agencies across the United States, Europe, and the United Kingdom. The company also developed cloud-based platforms designed to improve emergency response times by aggregating location data, call information, and live video feeds. Products such as in-car video systems and body cameras have become central to Motorola's offerings. These systems integrate multiple cameras with analytics software to provide real-time situational awareness. According to law enforcement agencies, the interoperability of Motorola's radios, cameras, and software reduces operational complexity. The company has also expanded into security products for hospitals, schools, and large venues, using automated monitoring tools to identify potential threats. Despite concerns raised by privacy advocacy groups, particularly regarding license plate recognition and surveillance technologies, Motorola Solutions has seen strong growth. The company has reported revenues exceeding $10 billion, significantly outpacing its closest competitors in the public safety technology sector. At the same time, Motorola Mobility has shown signs of recovery under Lenovo's ownership. According to company leadership, the turnaround strategy was implemented in stages. The first phase focused on stopping financial losses after the 2014 acquisition by exiting unprofitable markets and premium segments. The second phase, beginning around 2018, emphasized stabilization and gradual growth, including expansion into new regions and enterprise markets. The company has since reported year-on-year growth and increased revenue, with plans to continue scaling the business. Recent iterations of the Motorola RAZR have marked a return to the smartphone market, combining foldable designs with modern hardware. Motorola has also expanded its presence in markets such as India, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. While competition remains intense, the brand has regained a degree of relevance it had lost for more than a decade. Motorola's story reflects both the volatility of the technology industry and the impact of strategic focus. The company's resurgence has been driven less by consumer electronics and more by infrastructure and public safety systems. While this shift has brought financial success, it also highlights the growing role of surveillance and emergency response technologies in modern society. Motorola remains a company shaped by reinvention. From pioneering mobile communication to supplying critical systems for first responders, its influence continues, albeit in a different form. The future of its smartphone division remains uncertain, but the Motorola name is no longer defined solely by its past.